Good morning and welcome to the Genius Group Investor Call. I am Roger James Hamilton, the founder and CEO of Genius Group, and I'm joined today by our CFO, Gaurav Dama. We also have Shah Hamza here, who is operating our slides. And Shah, if you want to just share the slides, we'll make sure everyone can see these as we go. We're going to get started. So first of all, today we're presenting our 2025 full year results alongside our plans for 2026. We'll be walking through our three business units, Genius School, Genius Academy, and Genius Resorts, and also our Genius City development, our Bitcoin Treasury strategy, current legal cases, our share count, and our guidance for the year ahead. So moving on to the next slide. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that this call contains forward-looking statements as defined under the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. These are subject to risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results to differ materially from those stated. And for a full discussion, please see our most recent filings with the SEC. We undertake no obligation to update any forward-looking statement to reflect events occurring after this call. And during the call, we will also reference non-IFRS financial measures, including adjusted EBITDA and pro forma revenues. Reconciliations to the most directly comparable IFRS measures are in the press release and slide deck, which we are also issuing this morning. Both documents are available on our investor relations website at irgeniusgroup.net, where you can also access our Form 20-F, which we're also presenting today for the year ended December 31st, 2025, which we are filing with the SEC this morning. So coming to our next slide and our introduction, which is leading the AI-powered education revolution towards an exponential future. So let me take a moment to introduce Genius Group for those who are joining us for the first time. My entire life has been driven by a single question. And for the last decade, our team at Genius Group has been focused on answering that same question together. Will we pass the final exam? So when I was a student at Cambridge University, a mentor of mine, futurist Buckminster Fuller, he warned of a future in which technology would accelerate beyond human intelligence. And this is what he called the final exam. He believed the outcome as to whether we passed or failed this final exam would not depend on the technology. It would depend on us, on whether humanity raised its consciousness fast enough to harness that technology and solve the world's greatest challenges, or whether we would fail and technology would destroy us. And he said this around 50 years ago, and we still had time at that point. Today, we are now at that threshold. Genius Group was founded to help us pass the final exam. We're an AI-powered education group preparing students, entrepreneurs, businesses, and governments for the future of work. We teach the ABCs of the future: artificial intelligence, the future of work, Bitcoin and blockchain, the future digital economy, and community, the foundation of human connection in a post-singularity world. We serve 6.1 million students across more than 100 countries through our three business units, which are Genius School, Genius Academy, and Genius Resorts. And we're developing our first Genius City at Nuanu in Bali, Indonesia, as our lifelong learning campus model. Our aspiration is an ambitious goal of impacting 100 million students, launching 100 Genius Cities, and achieving a $1 billion valuation by 2030. So turning to our company mission and metrics on the next slide, as Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So this is Genius Group's mission: not to train humans to be better machines, better repetition, calculation, and memorization, but to teach humans to be better humans through self-awareness, self-mastery, and self-expression. Buckminster Fuller said the real task of humanity is not to invent more jobs. It is to rethink learning itself, to go back to school and think about whatever it was we were thinking about before somebody came along and told us we had to earn a living. Our Genius curriculum is not about waking up to your day's work, but waking up each day to your life's work by aligning to your highest purpose, your passions, your ambitions, and harnessing technology to get there. In a post-singularity world, which we will soon be entering, humans do not become more relevant by trying to be smarter machines. They become more valuable by becoming wiser, more creative, and more fully themselves. As robots become better robots, the purpose of education is for humans to become better humans. The word genius comes from the Latin roots meaning to give birth and unique spirit, and this same origin gives us genie, genes, genesis, and generation. Genius Group's name is inspired by the insight that everybody is a genius. And we ask the right question. Instead of judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree, we help every learner discover who they are uniquely here to be. So turning to our metrics, as of December 31st, 2025, our total assets stood at 137 million. Our stockholder equity is now also, as you can see, at a much higher number, which we're going to go through with our CFO at 97 million. And our pro forma revenue for 2025 at 13.6 million is an 80% increase year on year. Our current market cap is 96 million. And 2025 was a year of restructuring where we were defending the company with a series of corporate actions and the filing of various legal cases, as well as consolidating our growth around a high-tech, high-touch model focused on free courses and paid mentoring and experiences. The result was a 10x increase in the average revenue per student. We are now focusing at building on this profitable model for 2025. So turning to our next slide, year one of the Genius generation. Before we move on to the numbers and plans, I want to share why I believe this is the most important year in Genius Group's history, and why I believe entrepreneur education and reskilling is one of the biggest opportunities for both income and impact in 2026 and the years ahead. We've reached a tipping point in the acceleration of AI and the urgent need to prepare humanity for the coming disruption. This January, Elon Musk posted on X, "We have entered the singularity." Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, wrote last June, "We are past the event horizon. The takeoff has started." And Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, warned CNN in December, 2026 is likely to be the year the jobless boom begins. The World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report reports that 59 out of every 100 workers will need reskilling or upskilling by 2030. That 92 million jobs will be displaced, and that 170 million new roles are expected to emerge, but only to those who are prepared for them. So there is an urgent need for future school models designed more on harnessing technology than competing with it. This is the gap that Genius Group is filling and plans to keep filling as the gap grows. 2026 is year one of 15 of the Genius generation. Strauss and Howe's generational theory posits that society moves through 80 to 100-year cycles. After millennials, Gen Z, and Generation Alpha, the last of the pre-singularity human generations, in 2025, we began year zero of Generation Beta, the first exponential generation, which will include humans, robots, and AI. This is the Genius generation, and 2026 is year one. This Genius generation will see us through the singularity and the fourth turning. The education this generation needs is not the education the last generation received. While the 21st century industrial education model is designed on getting a job, our Genius entrepreneurial curriculum is designed on creating a job. In the past 9 to 5 model, work was defined as what you get paid for, your money work. In the future, we believe humans who design their life's work will have 3 types of work: your money work, defined by what you get, your village work, defined by what you give, and your personal work, defined by how you grow. Our Genius curriculum focuses on all 3, combining money, village, and personal work to make each student an MVP in their own design. In such a system, as AI assists and frees up time from money work, life meaning will go up, not down, as more time goes into how you give and how you grow. In short, our Genius curriculum is designed for both income and impact, guiding each student to live a more meaningful, fulfilling life of abundance, balance, and connection. The future ABCs in a post-singularity world. So now moving on to the next slide, the company outlook for 2025. Here is how we are going to grow profitably in 2026. In 2025, we reorganized Genius Group around 3 business units that together form our Genius City campus model. Genius School for children from early learning to high school graduation. Genius Academy for adult learning and reskilling in entrepreneur, investor, AI, Web3, and future skills. And Genius Resorts, our learning locations where we turn the old education paradigm of a production line to the new paradigm of a 5-star customer-first experience. In Q4 2025, the 3 units achieved operational profitability for the first time as a group. This is a milestone we are building on in 2026. Genius School. In November 2025, we completed the acquisition of a 51% majority stake in ProEd in Bali, operating under the Cambridge International Education System. We're integrating our Genius School model built on the World Economic Forum's 8 Future Skills framework. And in 2026, Genius School is targeting profitable operations with revenue of over $6 million, including the launch of our Genius School space capsules, which are Starlink-enabled, connected, and can be dropped into any school within the Asia Pacific region. Genius Academy. We serve 6.1 million students worldwide, and these are adult students. Revenue per paying student reached $1.8 thousand, $1,856 in 2025, which is up 1,053% year on year. So a 10x increase as we shift from mass free access to high value premium learning journeys. And in 2026, Genius Academy is targeting profitable operations with revenue of over $6 million, expanding our investor and entrepreneur academies globally and launching GEM-powered community features. And our Genius Resorts. In August 2025, we acquired Entrepreneur Resorts, bringing Tau Game Lodge and Matla Game Lodge in South Africa, and Vision Villas and Genius Cafe Beach Club in Bali. And Genius Resorts generated already $2.2 million in revenues in 2025 in just 5 months of operations under the group. In 2026, it targets over 8 million, including the commencements of Genius City construction for our 2027 and 2028 launch. So together, these 3 units are the proof of concept for the Genius City model. The vision works, the model is profitable, and we are now ready to scale. So moving into each of these one by one, if we go to slide 7, this is Genius School, Asia's leading future school. When I was founding chairman of Green School Bali, the question we were asked was, what kind of school prepares children for a world that doesn't yet exist? Today, that question is more urgent than ever, because the world our children will graduate into is one in which many of the jobs that will exist by 2030 have not yet been invented. We began the work there in building a new future school curriculum focused on nurturing young changemakers to become the environmental leaders of tomorrow. And as a result, when the World Economic Forum published its white paper, Schools of the Future, it featured the Green School as the #1 school example of what was possible. In the white paper, the WEF identified 8 future skills that every child needs to thrive: global citizenship, innovation and creativity, technology fluency, interpersonal intelligence, personalized self-paced learning, accessible and inclusive learning, problem-based collaborative learning, and lifelong student-driven learning. The OECD then built on these principles in its Learning Compass 2030 framework for future schools, pointing to the importance of teaching values and skills being as important, if not more important, than the traditional school focus on teaching knowledge. This combination of values, skills, and knowledge, personalized to ignite the genius in each student, is the foundation for our Genius curriculum and our Genius School model. Following the completion of our agreement with Nuanu City, Asia's city of the future in Bali, to take a majority interest in their 2 school campuses in Umalas and Nuanu, in 2026, we are introducing our Genius School model as an AI-powered personalized learning system, integrating with the world's 2 top certification systems for international schools globally. And these are the Cambridge International Education System and the International Baccalaureate System, the IB system. We are also running Genius Camps, a Genius Apprentice program, connecting students to entrepreneurial enterprises, and our Genius Educator certification to equip teachers and parents globally to adopt the Genius School system. And this year, the launch of our Starlink-connected future school space capsules, solar-powered, off-grid, modular learning pods that can be installed anywhere on Earth, will enable us to deliver immersive, AI-powered education to any school, village, or remote location. The goal of Genius School is to ignite the genius in every student and to design a life that links to their purpose, passions, and talents, to wake every day, not to their day's work, but to their life's work. In 2026, our Genius School goal is to build a proven, scalable future school model while also achieving profitable operations with revenue of over $6 million. On the next slide, we talk about AI-powered education for adults, Genius Academy. Genius Academy is our AI-powered lifelong learning platform for adults to learn the AI, Web3, entrepreneurial, and investing skills they need to succeed in the future of work. It delivers AI-powered personalized education at scale through our entrepreneur, investor, AI, and Bitcoin academies. We have 6.1 million students and users across the group, And our adult learners follow a similar process to our younger students, where they begin by getting clear on where they are, their purpose, passions, and talents through our AI-powered assessments, where they want to go, and then take the steps to get there through our courses and community. We call this the Genius Code. The customer journey is a freemium to premium pathway. Learners join a free event or course, meet their AI guide, personalize their journey, follow an AI-powered learning path, and build a learning profile. And from there, they progress up different levels of our impact meter, from $97 a year plus membership, where they can earn and redeem GEM rewards, to $970 per year pro membership, where they can earn as certified mentors and Genius City leaders, as well as adding their own courses and content to our GEM marketplace. We anticipate that as digital content becomes increasingly free, online education will also be largely free, with students willing to pay for mentoring and live experiences such as summits, workshops, accelerators, and retreats. In 2025, we moved towards this model, reducing the cost of online programs and increasing the options of paid IRL programs in real life to choose from. The result was that our average revenue per student grew 1,053% from $161 per student to $1,856 per student. And this contributed to our move to profitability. In 2026, Genius Academy is expected to achieve profitable operations with revenue of over $6 million. And our plans include expanding our Investor Academy and Entrepreneur Academy globally, launching AI-enabled GEM-powered community features. GEM is our in-house credit system, which stands for Genius Education Merits, and also growing our Bali-based AI labs and Genius Masters retreats, and delivering our AI-powered educator tools and course builders. And on the next slide, we talk about Genius Resorts, which is quite revolutionary, our experiential learning hospitality. So further to our move towards in-person experiences, Genius Resorts bridges the digital and physical worlds of the Genius experience by turning learning into a 5-star experience. We acquired the profitable locations of Entrepreneur Resorts Limited in August 2025, bringing 4 world-class learning destinations into the group. Tau Game Lodge and Matla Game Lodge in Madikwe Game Reserve in South Africa, luxury safari lodges serving as venues for entrepreneur leadership immersion programs, and Vision Villas and Genius Cafe Beach Club in Nuanu in Bali, which are the basis for our upcoming Genius City in Nuanu, Villa Retreat and community hubs at the heart of our Genius City development. Genius Resorts generated $2.2 million in audited revenue from August to December 2025 alone, and in 2026, it will deliver a full year of revenue, contributing over $8 million as we launch new locations, including Genius Beach at Genius City, Bali, growing our Genius calendar of camps, workshops, and retreats, and begin phase 1 development of Genius City's Living Hub, Learning Hub, and Student Hub. While many adults do not have budgets set aside for lifelong learning, they do have budgets for travel and holidays, and everyone has budgets for food and drink. By turning learning into a hospitality and entertainment expense, we are tapping into existing budgets and annual calendars, making lifelong learning a lifestyle. In 2026, we are launching our Genie AI app with point-of-sale purchase and redemption, enabling the GEM rewards that our learners earn for taking steps in their learning, living, earning, and giving to be spent within our Genius community. Our long-term goal within our post-singularity vision is that the amount that each learner can learn by how they give and grow each day, contributing to the community with their time and knowledge, the earnings will be sufficient for them to pay for all living expenses without the need to get a money job to pay their way. And that brings us to the next slide, Genius City, where it brings it all together in a lifelong learning campus. Our 3 business units come together in this Genius City model. In November 2025, we signed and closed a joint venture for Genius City at Nuanu Creative City, Bali, for the development of our first Genius City. Nuanu sits on 44 hectares of oceanfront land between Tanalot and Canggu in the west coast of Bali. It is already a world-class creative community attracting entrepreneurs, investors, and artists from around the globe. It is the host for international summits and festivals, including CoinFest, Asia's largest crypto festival, and our own Future Summit, which we hosted to a sold-out crowd in November 2025. Situated in the center of Nuanu and near the current pro-ed primary and secondary school campuses, Genius City Nuanu will become Nuanu's first and fully integrated living and learning campus. Our architects in Spiral, you can see their graphics here, are award-winning designers who have created a structure inspired by Buckminster Fuller's Spaceship Earth bioarchitecture. and they have completed the concept plans and begun the second phase of the design and development process already this year. The development includes a 100-key MICE hotel, MICE standing for conferences and exhibitions, as our living hub, an 800-seat multi-purpose dome, Spaceship Earth, as part of our learning hub, and a future high school teaching our Genius curriculum as our student hub. Hubs share co-working, creative labs, media labs, and tech labs to drive a robust shared revenue model. Built on 15,500 square meters of land, the project cost is $28.3 million, with a target 3-year revenue of $19.8 million per year and operating profit of $5.8 million annually. Targeting enterprise value of this project alone is $46.4 million to be funded through a non-dilutive RWA, which is real world asset blockchain-based property fund. Construction begins this year, with completion targeted by the end of 2027. This is our prototype, and once it is proven, our aim is to replicate the model globally, targeting 20 Genius cities by 2030 and ultimately 100 Genius cities around the world. We anticipate each Genius city will have its own AI-powered community where all learners can instantly connect to the mentors, projects, opportunities, apprenticeships that match their purpose, passions, and talents, where each Genius city will have its own sovereign fund, investing in startups, ventures, and robot arms return to the community, and where the microeconomy is built on collaboration and contribution. The Genius City model is based on the Balinese Banjar village model, where each member of the village identifies more with their village job than their money job, where everyone has their living and food costs covered, and the calendar of festivals and community events provide ongoing opportunity to create, connect, and celebrate. The Bali Trihita Karana 3 sources of harmony philosophy is about attaining fulfillment, happiness, and peace through the balance of spirit, nature, and humanity. And the 3 hubs of Genius City are entered through the Spirit Gate, Nature Gate, and Village Gate, with Spaceship Earth at the center. And that brings us to the next slide, the size of our market. Lifelong learning, which is our market, is a $10 trillion opportunity. Global education and upskilling spend is on track to reach $10 trillion by 2030, according to Holland IQ. It is growing at 4.5% CAGR, over 6% of global GDP. K-12 education alone will exceed $5 trillion. And sitting behind these numbers is something more urgent. As I earlier cited, the World Economic Forum estimates that 59 out of 100 workers worldwide will require reskilling or upskilling by 2030. That is hundreds of millions of people who need new skills, new purpose, and new pathways. The corporate training market alone stands at $361 billion today, and is projected to reach $800 billion by 2035. Not because companies want to spend more on training, but because they have no choice. The world of work is being disrupted at a pace that no previous generation has experienced. This is a historic moment in time we've been preparing for, and we believe the most powerful solution of this moment is education that is personalized, experiential, and lifelong. So coming to the next slide, this slide provides you with details of our corporate actions, legal progress, and shareholder rewards. As many of our investors are aware, 2025 was not an easy year for us. We reported throughout the year the challenges we faced from third parties and the corporate actions, legal actions we had been taking. The good news is that the combination of the various actions we have taken, whilst distracting from our core business, has enabled us to be successful in defending the company. And we do believe that we continue to make positive progress on these cases and these actions. On our corporate actions, we got shareholder approval and executed a series of share buybacks. Our directors, officers, and I also purchased shares of GNS on the open market, and we're successful in releasing all liens on our assets from third parties related to earlier debt agreements, which were repaid in full. We also commenced the dual listing process on the Australian Stock Exchange. And just on that note, while we looked at all the different exchanges, there were a number of exchanges, including Hong Kong and including Taiwan, where because of the regulations and the rules, didn't allow us to be able to be on those exchanges in the short term. Whereas with ASX, there's already a good history of dual listings with US companies, which includes Block. On our legal actions, we are successful in our filing with the appeals court to have the preliminary injunction on our ability to sell shares, raise financing, and buy Bitcoin stayed until the arbitration case with LZGI is completed, after which the case will be closed. In the arbitration, we are seeking to recover 7.4 million GNS shares and $6.6 million in funds paid to LZGI, and we did expect a ruling in the arbitration case by the end of this January. However, the ICC has extended that date to give a final ruling at the end of this month of March. Last year, we also filed a RICO complaint and a class action lawsuit against various parties, collectively seeking damages of $1 billion. These cases are currently in progress, and we are pleased to be leaving these cases in the capable hands of our lawyers, allowing the company to put its full focus on executing our operational plan. On shareholder rewards, in 2026, we encouraged shareholders to keep shares in book entry form at our share transfer agent, VStock. And we announced a 10-cent per share Bitcoin loyalty payment program for shares held in book entry form from November 28, 2025 through to May 28, 2026. And in addition, ERL began distribution of GNS shares to ERL shareholders on February 15th, 2026, with the majority of these shares also receiving the benefit of the loyalty program by remaining in shareholders' names at VStock. Currently, there's a total of 17.3 million shares that are held at VStock as part of this reward program. We also held a share count on February 15th, coinciding with the commencement of the ERL share distribution. We were expecting to be able to provide the results of this by now, but are still in the process of collecting data, and we will be reporting on this in full details once complete. I expect that to be fairly shortly. And on a final note, while we have a goal of building our Bitcoin Treasury and access to funding via an SEC-approved shelf and ATM, we are mindful to only be using our ATM when it's accretive to the business, and so have made use of it only conservatively in 2025, and will continue to maintain a conservative balance between financing activities, Bitcoin purchases, and share buybacks, with an ongoing view of continuing to maximize shareholder value while building the performance and profitability of our core operations. And with that, I'm going to hand it over on the next slide, which is our financial summary and guidance, to Gaurav Dama, our CFO.
Thank you, Roger.
Hey, Gaurav.
Yeah. Hey, Roger. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. On slide 13, we present our audited financials for the year 2025. Our 20F will be filed today, together with our guidance for 2026. Given our two significant acquisitions during the year, which is GNS Resort in July and Pro Education in November, we present both audited financials and pro forma financials, the latter reflecting a full year contribution from both the businesses. In terms of our revenue, the audited revenue for 2025 was 8.4 million for the full year, which was up from 7.6 million in 2024. On the pro forma basis, the incorporating the full year contribution from GNS Resort and Pro Education, our revenue was 13.6 million, 80% increase year on year. You can see that clearly in the revenue chart, the 2024 bar reflecting 7.3 million in core operations, plus 0.3 million from a discontinued operations, making a 80% growth in our core business from 2024 to 2025, clearly visible. Our gross profit, which rose to 4.9 million on pro forma basis, which is a significant improvement of 110% year on year. Our adjusted EBITDA loss was about 13.1 million for the year. The reported net loss of 56 million, including 42.9 million in non-cash item. These are mainly impairment, asset impairment from discontinued operations, restructuring, provisions, share-based compensation. These are predominantly one of the costs associated with our consolidated and transformation. On an underlying operational basis, we achieved operational profitability from a business unit in Q4 2025. On our cash use in operations, improved dramatically, down from 76% from 46.3 million in 2024 to 10.6 million in 2025. This reflects significant tighter operational discipline across business and the elimination of extraordinary costs which occurred in 2024. On our balance sheet, our total asset grew 37% to 136.9 million. Our shareholders' equity is 96.6 million. Subsequent to year-end, we sold approximately 102.6 Bitcoin at an average price of 71,035 per Bitcoin, which is for the total 7.3 million. This helps us to reduce our Bitcoin back loan from 8.5 million to 3.3 million, which further strengthened our balance sheet. Our total student grew from 5.8 million to 6.1 million in 2024, in 2025 compared to 2024. The revenue per paying student grew 1053% from 161 to 1856. our strongest leading indicator of our shift in premium integrated high-tech and high-touch model. Turning to 2026 guidance, which you see on the right-hand side of the slide, we are guiding to 20 to 22 million in terms of our revenue, which is 48% growth from our 2025 pro forma, and a positive EBITDA from our operational of 1.5 to 2 million. All three business units, which are expected to achieve profitable operations, which is Genius School over 6 million, Genius Academy over 6 million, and Genius Resort over 8 million. With that, I'll hand it back to you, Roger.
Thank you very much, Gaurav. We are now entering 2026 with the strongest foundations in Genius Group's history. Three business units profitable together for the first time. A Genius City signed and underway. $137 million in total assets and over $1 billion in damages being pursued by our legal team. And on top of that, a dual listing on the ASX is in process. So moving to our final slide, the future ABCs. I want to close with a message that resonates with all of our students and sets us apart from other education companies. The result of our Genius education is a shift in focus on the ABCs that we are teaching and what we are currently experiencing. If you look below, the left column are the present ABCs experienced by many children and adults today. These are the ABCs of anxiety, burnout, and crisis. These are not abstract words. These are the lived experience of hundreds of millions of people right now. Workers facing displacement, parents watching their children prepare for a world that no longer exists, leaders trying to navigate unprecedented change, the anxiety of not knowing what comes next, the burnout of running faster just to stay still, and the crisis of a system built for a world that is ending. The right column are the future ABCs that our learners experience from Genius: abundance, balance, connection. These are not ideals, these are outcomes. The abundance that comes when technology takes care of scarcity and humans take care of each other. The balance that comes when we work to live, not live to work. The connection that comes when we stop competing and start creating together. How we do this is through the ABCs we teach. This is the central three, the Genius Code: AI, blockchain, community. These are not just technologies, they are the tools of liberation. AI is not to replace human intelligence, but to amplify it. Blockchain is not just about Bitcoin and digital currency, but also digital trust, digital ownership, digital sovereignty. And community, because none of us can pass the final exam alone. We pass it together or not at all. The image here that you see is the Genius City that we are building at Nuanu in Bali, and that we aim to replicate in 100 locations around the world. A place where anxiety can turn to abundance, where burnout can turn to balance, and where the sense of crisis and separation is replaced with lifelong connection and belonging. While some of our shareholders listening may be new to Genius, I know many of you have been long-time investors who have continued to support us through the challenging times because you believe in the importance of our mission as much as we do. And I want to say to you, thank you so much for continuing to be on this journey with us. 2026 is the year that I personally am changing my own ABCs from anxiety, burnout, and crisis to abundance, balance, and connection as we deliver on this mission. We are in the year of the singularity. We are at the beginning of the Genius generation. We are at the moment Bucky Fuller spent his life preparing us for. And we have been building exactly the right vehicle at exactly the right time to pass the final exam. This is the work we are committed to. This is the future we are building. Thank you for joining our journey. And with that, we're going to bring this shareholder meeting to a close, and we look forward to continuing the conversation online. Thank you very much, everyone.